Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Great America Show. It's great to have you with us. Thanks so much for joining us tonight on this beautiful day in America. I don't even know where to begin today. There is so much news to talk about. So much went on today in just a short span. President Trump on his way over to the United Kingdom, where he's going to host some meetings on some America First trade agreements. We've got some new text messages revealed today from Charlie Kirk's assassin, showing just how sick he is, and some media networks trying to humanize this monster like he's some lovable person. We've got those text messages here for you tonight. I guess we should start with first, before we get into the sparks that were flying on Capitol Hill between Kash Patel and Cory Booker and Mazie Hirono and Adam Schiff, pencil neck Adam Schiff. Some new documents being released too from Chuck Grassley. We got all of that today and much, much more. Also some new details into some Jeffrey Epstein stuff that I think you guys probably want to hear. I want to first go to the county prosecutor announcing the charges today for Tyler Robinson, the man who assassinated Kash Patel, and some of the things that he laid out, including some revealing evidence from the shooter's mother. Take a listen.
On the evening of September 11th, 2025, as law enforcement continued their investigation, Tyler James Robinson went to the Washington County Sheriff's Office with his parents and a family friend to turn himself in. Robinson's mother stated that the following to police. On September 11th, 2025, the day after the shooting, Robinson's mother saw the photo of the shooter in the news and thought the shooter looked like her son. Robinson's mother called her son and asked him where he was. He said he was at home sick and that he had also been at homesick on September 10th. Robinson's mother expressed concern to her husband that the suspect shooter looked like Robinson. Robinson's father agreed. Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and had started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders. This resulted in several discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views. In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson mentioned that Charlie Kirk would be holding an event at UVU, which Robinson said was a stupid venue for the event. Robinson accused Kirk of spreading hate. Robinson's father reported that when his wife showed him the surveillance image of the suspected shooter in the news, he agreed that it looked like their son. He also believed that the rifle that police suspected the shooter used matched a rifle that was given to his son as a gift. As a result, Robinson's father contacted his son and asked him to send a photo of the rifle. Robinson did not respond. However, Robinson's father spoke on the phone with Robinson. Robinson implied that he planned to take his own life. Robinson's parents were able to convince him to meet at their home. As they discussed the situation, Robinson implied that he was the shooter and stated that he couldn't go to jail and just wanted to end it. When asked why he did it, Robinson explained there is too much evil and the guy, referring to Charlie Kirk, spreads too much hate. They talked about Robinson turning himself in and convinced Robinson to speak with a family friend who is a retired deputy sheriff. At Robinson's father's request, the family friend met with Robinson and his parents and
So some new details that we're finding out now, that his parents did indeed have a big role in him, number one, not committing suicide, which would be the coward's way out. We wanted this scumbag alive in custody so he can deal with, hopefully, the firing squad one day in Utah. And number two, having him meet with, as they mentioned, the sheriff Originally, I guess it was reported that he was a U.S. Marshal. Now it turns out he's a former deputy sheriff, to turn himself in. So on its face, I've said this each and every day. As we got here, it seems this psychopath Tyler Robinson didn't agree with his father. And we're going to bring you those text messages to show you just how much he disagreed with him on his political ideologies, and simple that he supported President Trump, the parents, and the son clearly had a very big derangement problem, which led him to do what he did here. It's actually truly despicable. So the new text messages that we have now released today, and by the way, folks, I should mention we are live tonight. If you can't tell some of the technical difficulties we've already had. So any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to leave them on Rumble, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you guys are tuning in from. We appreciate it. Kelly Song, as always, GY5 Finbar. We appreciate you guys always tuning in. So please be sure to let us know where you're tuning in from, and we'll get to any of your questions and shout outs throughout the show. As always, we appreciate any input on the show. So the new documents that we have tonight have ABC absolutely gushing. So let's bring you what ABC, actually, you know what? Let's go over these documents first to show you what they were gushing over. Now, these are documents of text messages between the shooter and his boyfriend / roommate he lived with. Quote, judging from today, I'd say my grandfather's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think that was a $2,000 scope. So obviously saying he took the gun from his grandfather to do this. Robinson goes on to say, delete this exchange. My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it's very unique. He's calling me right now, and I'm not answering. Since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. You are all I worry about, love. I'm much more worried about you. Don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments if any police ask you questions. Ask for a lawyer and stay silent. Another page then goes on. After reading this, his roommate / boyfriend replied, what? You're joking, right? To which Robinson continues, I am still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in RM for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I've got to grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this a secret till I died of old age. I'm sorry to involve you. His roommate / boyfriend then replied, you weren't the one who did it, right? To which Robinson said, I am sorry. And the roommate / boyfriend replied, I thought they caught the person. To which Robinson said, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from the drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. So clearly referring to the old man that they grabbed and then the other man that they grabbed shortly thereafter in the town. The roommate then asked why. Robin says, why did I do it? And he says, yes, I had enough of this hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. Well, clearly that's not the case, idiot, because you're on about 10 different doorbell cameras. You've left your fingerprints just about everywhere you went. So not the best criminal, I should say, Mr. Robinson, scumbag. His roommate then says, how long have you been planning this? To which Robinson says, a little bit over a week. I believe I can get close to it, but there's a squad car parked right by it. I think they've already swept the spot, but I don't want to chance it. So I guess Robinson believed he was going to get away with this and try to be a perfect criminal, which, as we know, isn't exactly the easiest thing to do anymore with great Americans like the people who helped catch this scumbag. Robinson then finally says, I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it sooner. As soon as I got back to my vehicle, I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. I don't know if it had a serial number, but it would trace to me. I worry about my prints that I had to leave it in the bush where I changed my outfits. Didn't have any ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find the prints. How the F will I explain losing it to my old man? The only thing I left was wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving the bullets, the effing message about the big memes? If I see notice bulges, UWU, on Fox News, I might have a stroke. All right, I'm going to leave it. This really effing stinks. So that's a text message exchange, I guess, to which the boyfriend / roommate wound up turning over to the police department and to the sheriffs, which led them to being able to finally bring this guy in. So you wonder, what do the media have to say about this? Particularly the Marxist mainstream media. Well, let's take a listen. Let's take a listen on what ABC and what their reporter had to say. Take a listen.
We have seen an alleged murder with such specific text messages about the alleged murder weapon, where it was hidden, how it was placed, what was on it, but also it was very touching in a way that I think many of us didn't expect. A very intimate portrait into this relationship between the suspect's roommate and the suspect himself, with him repeatedly calling his roommate, who is transitioning, calling him my love, and I want to protect you, my love. So it was this duality of someone who the attorney said not only jeopardized the life of Charlie Kirk and the crowd, but was doing it in front of children, which is one of the aggravating circumstances of this case. And on the other hand, he was, speaking so lovingly about his partner. So a very interesting and, as Pierre said, riveting press conference, David.
It was.
Can you imagine that came out of that man's mouth? That he's a human. He was showing love and compassion to his transitioning transgender freak of a roommate. This is the news that ABC reports. When Donald Trump calls the media the enemy of the people, and people say that's dangerous what he's doing, that right there is dangerous. For anybody who's out there watching that garbage, thinks that they can possibly be a copycat of Tyler Robinson, or meditating doing something like that, to know they'll be covered in the media as a human, as a person with a heart, as a person with a soul. The mainstream media is the enemy of the people. They are the enemy of every single one of us, the enemy of truth, justice, and the American way, the enemy of every fabric this country was built on. It upsets my stomach to even watch a journalist, a reporter, even go out there and speak all of that with a straight face. I mean, it's terrifying. I want to take a quick break here, folks. On the other side of this quick break, we're going to talk a little bit more about this. We're going to talk about Kash Patel on Capitol Hill today, as it's being said that his job is hanging in the balance. We've got all that and much, much more on the other side of this quick break, folks. The Great America Show continues in just one moment. Once again, we're live tonight, folks. Let us know where you're tuned in from. Any questions, we'll try to get to them before the end of the show. Please stay with us, folks. The Great America Show continues in just one moment. We're coming right back.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you that we're making it through. My employees and I want to thank you for your continued support by extending our wholesale prices on classic MyPillows. Get standard classic MyPillows only $14.98. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.98. But it gets even better. Upgrade to a queen size MyPillow for just $18.98. King size only $1 more. Get my body pillows $29.98 and multi-use MyPillows for only $9.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including my standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now only $14.98. Queens $18.98, Kings only $1 more. Not only that, order $75 or more, ship absolutely free.
From all of us here at MyPillow,
thanks, America!
Thanks, everybody, for staying with us. And a shout out over on YouTube to Finbar, our friend from over in the United Kingdom. We've got some international audience on our audio podcast. We do a massive international presence in Canada, Mexico. We've got some listeners out in Madagascar. You'd be surprised. We've got some people in Russia, Ukraine. You'd be surprised how many people are thirsty for just the truth, which you can't get in the mainstream media. So anyone who's tuning in, believe it or not, we have a big audience outside of America as well. We appreciate you guys. tuning in, because it's important to get you guys the news, and it may not be your country, but seemingly everything relies on America. So whether you live in America, you are American, you don't live in America, you're American living outside of America, everything seemingly comes back to America. So the mainstream media, the enemy of the people, as President Trump likes to call them. And they are. I mean, they've lied about just about everything. For the last 10 years, they've lied about President Trump. They've lied about his family. They've lied about his cognitive decline, which was really Joe Biden. They told us that Joe Biden was cognitively great. Everything was running good. We find out everything was running just about as bad as possibly could be. Mental decline. I don't know if you guys saw in the recent weeks, Joe Biden walking around with a massive scar on his head, looking like he had some sort of surgical process done on his head. Could have been a lobotomy. Who knows? But, they told us he was great health. Everything was good with him. They told us Donald Trump was bad. Orange man was a narcissist. Orange man is a racist. Orange man is a xenophobe. And everything's been a lie. So Donald Trump today says he's had enough. And he's been on a little bit of a rampage lately, suing the hell out of these left-leaning Marxist-run networks. CBS got a big settlement out of it. He's going after the Wall Street Journal now, Fox News. Today, there's a new victim. And they're not really victims by any stretch of the imagination. President Trump announcing today he's launched a $15 billion landmark legislative case against the New York Times in his what Politico is calling his latest attack on major media companies over its reporting and commentary on him. Imagine that. Suit was filed in Florida, accused the New York Times of being a full-throated mouthpiece for the Democratic Party, and cites a series of articles, including the page's front page endorsement of Kamala Harris in the lead up to the 2024 election. President Trump saying in a Truth Social post, the degenerate Times has engaged in decades-long method of lying about your favorite president, President Trump, his family, the America First movement, MAGA, and our nation as a whole. The New York Times has been allowed to freely lie, smear, and defame me for far too long, and then that stops now. Suits named in this lawsuit, the names named in the suit, the New York Times, 4 publication reporters, Suzanne Craig, Russ Bettner, Peter Baker, Michael Schmidt, Penguin Random House, which published the book titled Lucky Loser, How Donald Trump Squared His Father's Fortune and Created the Illusion of Succession. These people are truly demented and absolutely, truly deranged. So it's nice to see President Trump holding these scum reliable and accountable for all the hate that they've perpetrated on this country. Enough is enough. Speaking of New York, a New York judge today has dropped terrorism charges against the United Healthcare CEO killer, Luigi Mangione. Last December, he was hit with 11 counts, 11 charges, one of them being a terrorism charge which carried the death sentence. A judge today dismissed 2 terrorism charges, citing lack of sufficient evidence. So now I believe this throws out the possibility of life without parole and the death sentence for Luigi Mangione, who in the early morning shot like a coward, because that's what these guys are, in the back of his head, the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson, in the back of his head, where he couldn't see, where he couldn't face the man, didn't get to look at him, back of the head, much like what they did to Charlie Kirk from 200 yards away. Couldn't look at the man in his face like a coward. That's what these people are, folks. Don't let it be spun any other way, as the mainstream media would like to tell you. But if you're tuned in here, the chances are you're probably not listening to the mainstream media, and you're probably not tuning into these people because they are absolute liars. So let's get into what happened on Capitol Hill today. Sparks were absolutely flying as news comes this evening that FBI co-director, Deputy Director Dan Bongino is not expected to stay with the FBI much longer. This is according to Fox News reporting. We have not confirmed that independently, but this comes as Kash Patel has been under fire, reportedly. Another report out tonight, multiple members of the Trump administration are calling for FBI Director Kash Patel to be fired. And that also attributed to Fox News. So this was yesterday. We had a report for you that Jackie Heinrich put out, who's a absolute Trump hater, that Kash was on his way out. So we'll keep you updated, but we haven't been able to verify that. That's Fox News reporting. So I guess Kash, according to the reporting, is on the hot seat. So he had to show up to Capitol Hill today and put on a show and stifle some of the Marxist Democrats. Who should we start with? Should we start with Cory Booker or Mazie Hirono or Adam Schiff? Let's start with Mazie Hirono. We'll save the best for last. Mazie Hirono went after him, saying that the FBI has lost a record amount of agents since he decided to take over the FBI. Not mentioning the ones that were fired, the scum who preyed on innocent Americans for the last 4 years. Take a listen to this exchange.
Next question. Which field office, division, or directorate has lost the most personnel since January 2025? And do you have the answer to that question?
Yeah, actually, every single field office in the country, including Hawaii, has received a plus-up of FBI agents because we're pushing them out to the field.
Okay, so you're telling me that no field office, division, or directorate has lost any personnel since January 20th, 2025. That's your answer?
In Hawaii, there's been a plus-up. In every single state that I'm looking at, we have allocated a plus-up for field offices across the country so that the FBI can continuing the historic achievements it's done in these last 7 months. When you're talking about firings, you're looking for a media hit and a fundraising clip, and I'm not going to give it to you.
It doesn't matter under what basis they left. I just want to know how many have left. And I think your testimony is nobody has left. Next question.
Nope, that's not my testimony. You asked it one time. I answered it one time. You didn't get the answer you wanted for your clips.
Next
So you keep
question.
asking it, and I told you I'd get you the numbers, but you can keep asking it.
Which field office, division, or directorate has gained the most personnel since January 2025? You noted that there have been plus-ups, so which offices have received these plus-ups?
The greatest allocation that I believe was given to California and then Florida.
Where were those offices?
California and Florida.
Thank you. Director Patel, you often refer to FBI agents as cops. All of us, Democrats and Republicans, support the police officers who keep our communities safe. But while our states, cities, counties, and towns all employ police officers to protect our communities, Congress has empowered and equipped the FBI to take on missions that local police cannot, especially taking on terrorists, hackers, and spies. I'd like to assess how well the FBI is able to handle its specialized missions under your leadership. The FBI is the nation's lead federal law enforcement agency for investigating and preventing acts of domestic and international terrorism. And yet the executive assistant directors in charge of the FBI's national security and intelligence branches were both forced out at the beginning of the year. Who replaced them in those positions?
Excellent qualified personnel to lead the mission of arresting 23,000 violent criminals this year alone. That's twice as many as before.
Who took the places of
I'm not going to give you any names so you can attack them.
Why not?
So you can attack them. I'm not doing that. The
You're not
people
gonna
sitting
give
in
me the
those seats
names
are
of-
extremely qualified to handle the job.
You're
We
not
would
gonna
not
give
have
me
the
the names
results.
of
We would,
personnel who
we would
should
not
be
have the
on your-
reduction
Right,
of
fine,
violence in the
moving
state
on.
of Hawaii if we did not allocate the
Earlier
resources we
this
did.
year, FBI counterterrorist special agents and investigators were reassigned to assist with immigration enforcement. Reportedly, these counter
That's a woman who doesn't know how to read, let alone write, reading off her notes, not even understanding what she's reading. Why is nobody calling these people out for the phoniness that they portray every day? I mean, it's insane to me. They read off a piece of paper and they can't even read what they're what's written for them. It's like they get off the toilet bowl and they go into these damn meetings not knowing what they're talking about and just spew away nonsense, as Kash said, for media hits, for media headlines. It's what they've done for years. How about Cory Booker? Cory Booker, we'll save Cory Booker till after the break because it was an interesting exchange. Let's go down to Adam Schiff, who wanted to talk about Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. Take a listen.
The Bureau of Decisions made it in
Prisons.
The Bureau of Prisons decided on their own, without any consultation with Blanche or anyone else, that they were going to suddenly, after this interview, completely unrelated to this interview, completely unrelated to anything she said, move her to a prison not suitable for a sex offender. You want the American people to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
No. I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of
you're not in
inmates.
the weeds?
What I am doing is protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating the weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you. And we have countlessly proven you to be a liar in Russiagate, in January 6th. You are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best.
Well, you can take an internet troll.
Take it to the bank that the FBI is protecting this country and the state and citizens of California. We are bringing historic reform. Point of order. But all you care about is a child sex predator that was prosecuted by a prior administration, and the Obama Justice Department and the Biden Justice Department did squat. And what did President Trump do? Bring new charges courageously. And what have we done?
Chairman,
you said I'm the most transparent FBI director in history. 33,000 pages of information to you. I challenge you to say anything credibly to the truth. Go ahead and run to the cameras where you want to go now.
Both of you be quiet.
Bang! That's what happened to Adam Schiff. It's nice to see. It really is a breath of fresh air to see a witness, as they're called, anyone who testifies before the committee, a witness just absolutely smack these people around like dogs, of course, metaphorically, because they get away with murder. They sit up there, they ask a question, a rhetorical question, and then they go on to the next one. It's just their talking points. So as he said, they can get their media, 30-second clips. Kash was not having it, though. So, whether he is fighting for his job or the reports are true or not true, a hell of a job finally holding these Marxist Democrats to account for their lies, their deceit, and everything. They are truly the enemy of the people. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Folks, we're going to take one more quick break here. When we return, we've got some Cory Booker sound for you. We've got some new Epstein information. We've also got some information from Chuck Grassley on an undercover operation that Christopher Wray's FBI was running on some of the guests we have on this show, people in the Trump administration. We've got all that for you coming up on the other side of this quick break. The Great America Show continues in just one moment. Please stay with us.
Just like all of you, I had problems sleeping. I had tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. I'd flip-flop all night, use my arm for support, and fall asleep, or I'd wake up with a sore neck or maybe a headache. Well, quality sleep comes from keeping your neck straight at night. You have to fill in that space between your head and your bed. That's why I invented My Pillow. My Pillow's patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs, and it doesn't matter if you sleep on your back, stomach, side, or any combination of all three.
When I got My Pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night, and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get Classic King My Pillows for only $19.98. Queen size just $18.98. Standard Classic My Pillows only $14.98. That's right, only $14.98. Plus all orders $75 or more ship absolutely free.
Thanks, everybody, for staying with us here on the Great America Show. So much more to get to today before we wrap up. Let us know where you're tuned in from. And as I said, we're live tonight, so we appreciate all of you folks tuned in live to the Great America Show. Let's continue with that little act the Democrats are putting on today on Capitol Hill. And let's go to Cory Booker, Spartacus, big tough guy. Big tough guy who wears like pink pants on the weekend and dresses like a woman. Yeah, him. Letting Kash Patel, he's not scared of him. Big tough guy, Cory Booker. Take a listen. This seems a little bit lengthy, but listening to it this morning as we were going through all the clips of the day, it really put a smile on my face. Take a listen.
Mr. Patel, in just 8 months, you have assaulted the institutional integrity of the FBI. But I know FBI field agents. I've worked with them in Newark. No matter how truly bad you are, you can't undermine the legacy of agents who fight every day to keep us safe, but you can tarnish the integrity of the agency and undermine the agency's capacity. I believe you're failing as a leader, and that your failure does have serious implications for the safety and security of Americans and our families. We're more vulnerable to domestic and foreign attack because of your failures of leadership. I don't think you're fit to hand the bureau, but here's the thing, Mr. Patel. I think you're not going to be around long. I think this might be your last oversight hearing. Because as much as you supplicate yourself to the will of Donald Trump and not the Constitution of the United States of America, Donald Trump has shown us in his first term and in this term, he is not loyal to people like you. He will cut you loose. This may be the last time I have a hearing with you because I don't think you're long for your job. But I'm going to tell you this. I pray for you. I pray for you that you can step up and defend your oath, defend the Constitution, and do a much better job of defending this country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do you want to say anything?
Yes, sir. That rant of false information does not bring this country together. If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is
I follow you on your social media posts that tear this country apart.
To address your falsehoods.
Oh, you can try all you want
in this country.
to not take responsibility for what you have said.
Time.
Sir, you're making a mockery of this committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over. The people of New Jersey tell me what my time is. You can't lecture me.
You can tell me my time's over.
You may be the charge of the
I'm not going anywhere.
but I am not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman.
Not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman, point of order. Senator Booker, I announced at the beginning of this meeting that this back and forth, talking over each other, doesn't work. And I said if that happened, I asked Patel not to respond, and I was going to give him some time after the senator's time was up to respond. And he has the privilege to do that uninterrupted.
Mr.
So
Chairman, one point of
order.
order.
Go ahead, Mr.
I've
Patel.
watched him talk over us, and you've never once criticized him for us not even being able to get our questions out.
Well,
he has been rude and disrespectful to senator after senator.
And when the senators were not giving him a chance to answer, I didn't stop the senator either. Go ahead, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If the FBI, under my 7-month leadership, were failing this administration in this country, why do we have 23,000 violent felons arrested this year alone? A double increase from that time last year. Why is it that we have seized 6,000 weapons? Why have we found 1,500 child predators and arrested them? Why have we 300 human traffickers in jail? Why have we found and identified 4,700 children? Why have we seized 1,600 kilograms of fentanyl, enough to kill a third of the American public, a 25% increase alone from last year? 88,000 kilograms of cocaine seized, 7,000 kilograms of meth seized, and that's just on our criminal operations in summer heat. How is it possible that we're taking 8 kilograms off the streets of the cities in New Jersey and preventing the deaths of 607,000 people this year alone, a failure of the FBI and my leadership? How is it that we have counterintelligence arrests already this year exceeding the numbers from the entirety of last year? 33% increase in PRC, 83% in Russia, 60% in the CI space as it relates to Iran, and we haven't even talked about CT, the southern border, the northern border.
Oh, boy. That was a brutal beatdown for Spartacus, who says he's not scared of Kash Patel. He's not scared of him. Big, tough guy, Spartacus. He's not scared. Kash Patel should be worried. Big, tough guy might go ahead and get him. I mean, absolutely stunning. But perhaps one of the most stunning parts about that hearing was Senator Kennedy asking Kash about what the FBI has found on Jeffrey Epstein.
You've seen most of the files. Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
In the files?
In the case file.
Okay.
I don't think Kash Patel is lying there, but I do think it was telling that last 30 seconds or the last 3 seconds there in the information we have, meaning the information the FBI has, which could be different and is most likely different from the information that the Department of Justice has, Ms. Pam Bondi. Now, yesterday's reporting was that Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche hate Kash Patel. And that's the reason why he's on the chopping block, reportedly. I haven't confirmed it, reportedly. So could it be the disconnect is over the Epstein documents? Could it be that the Department of Justice is withholding documents from Kash Patel? Because they had a little scuffle a few months back when Dan Bongino didn't show up to work, and they reported it was over the Epstein files, and Kash was fuming. And this was when Pam Bondi did her whole little charade. So is it possible that's the reason why? I'm just trying to read between the lines here and figure out what it could possibly be. But when you hear him say that at the end, it sounds like he's covering his bacon, that there may be some documents out there that implicate some people. I find it hard to believe that so many people have come forward with allegations of X, Y, and Z, and Jeffrey Epstein is dead, and the only person we have in prison is Ghislaine Maxwell. I find that very, very hard to believe, and I think a lot of people do as well. So, just my 2 cents on the whole Kash Patel thing. I'm not defending anything, but I'm just trying to read into it, and it seems like there's something more there. Senator Chuck Grassley announcing at that hearing today that an FBI whistleblower revealed to him an FBI project called Arctic Frost that targeted groups linked to Donald Trump, such as Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA. Now, this is a massive bombshell, and he's released all these documents today, and we're going to bring them to you in just a moment. He says in total, 92 Republican targets were hit, including Republican groups and Republican-linked groups that were placed under investigation under the scope of Arctic Frost. Take a listen to Grassley announcing it today.
Well, it's well understood that your predecessor left you an FBI infected with politics. I'm going to provide examples of that today, including making public new whistleblower records. At your nomination hearing, I made public records that whistleblowers provide me about Arctic Frost. Arctic Frost was the FBI case opened and approved by antitrust Trump FBI agent Thibault. Arctic Frost then became Jack Smith's elector case against then citizen Trump and now President Trump. These new records show that Arctic Frost was much broader than just an electoral matter. The case was expanded to Republican organizations. Some examples of the group that Ray FBI sought to place under political investigation included the Republican National Committee, Republican Attorney General's Association, and various Trump political groups. In total, 92 Republican targets, including Republican groups and Republican-linked individuals, were placed under investigative scope of Arctic Frost. On that political list was one of Charlie Kirk's groups, Turning Point USA. In other words, Arctic Frost wasn't just a case to politically investigate Trump. It was the vehicle by which partisan FBI agents and Department of Justice prosecutors could achieve their partisan ends and improperly investigate the entire Republican political apparatus.
Imagine that, the FBI under Christopher Wray doing something wrong. Before we wrap, and we're going to get to some of your questions and stuff before the show's up, I want to give a shout out to Senator Eric Schmidt, who I think had some really good words to say about the Democrats and the whole argument of violence on both sides, which is what the Democrats want to sell it as now, because we're constantly getting radicalized Democrats who commit crime.
We've heard years of the left, their loudest voices calling anyone on the right extremist MAGA Republicans, fascists, Nazis, an existential threat to democracy. Check yourself. And don't give me this both sides bullshit. Mr. Director, I want to ask you. Tell me if each one of the following perpetrators or alleged perpetrators were acting from a left-wing or right-wing political violence. The man who tried to kill Republican congressman at the congressional baseball practice, nearly killing House Majority Leader Steve Scalise. Left-wing or right-wing violence?
Sir, I believe it was a left-wing ideology.
Okay. Burned down cities during the Summer of Love in the George Floyd riots. Left-wing violence or right-wing violence?
Sir, I'll rely on you on these. I don't have off the top of my head.
Okay. Left-wing. The Waukesha Christmas Parade massacre. Left-wing or right-wing violence? Left-wing. The Lee Zeldin stabbing attempt. Left-wing or right-wing? Left-wing. The Covenant school shooting in Nashville. Left-wing or right-wing? Left-wing. The Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt on President Trump. Left-wing or right-wing? Left-wing. The Trump International West Palm Beach assassination attempt. Left-wing. The Abundant Life Christian school shooting. Left-wing. The United Care CEO's murder, left wing. Tesla's burned, keyed, damaged, firebombed, left wing. The murders at the Israeli embassy, left wing. The ICE facilities firebombed, left wing. The Minnesota Catholic school shooting, left wing. The anti-white Charlotte and North Carolina stabbing, left wing. The attempted Utah News State firebombing, left wing. And now, of course, the culmination of this vile trend, a left-wing assassination of Charlie Kirk. So don't give me this both sides. If we want to get to unity, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Free speech, yes. Political violence, no. But let's be honest. We've heard years of the left, their loudest voices.
Yeah. Being honest is a hard thing for the Democrats because they lie, cheat, and steal. And they get caught all the time doing it. The House has passed a bill now requiring, just moments ago, requiring Washington, D.C. to prosecute anyone aged 18 to 24 as an adult and not a youth. I think that's a step in the right direction for fighting crime, and it should be looked at across the country. Before we wrap, folks, I want to get to some of your shout-outs, and like I said, we always appreciate you guys tuning into any of our live shows. Over on YouTube. Finbar, hi, John. I look forward to your show every evening. Great source for real news. We get fed so many lies from the media in the United Kingdom. Don't feel bad for yourself. We get fed just as many lies here. I do hear it's a little bit rougher over there for you guys. We appreciate you tuning in every night. GY5, the death penalty in Utah for these crimes is death by firing squad. I think the jury should just consider death by Stacey Abrams, dressed like a furry. He can't be taken out soon enough for what he did. Absolute disgust. Sick man. What do we got here? Sorry, just going through some of these on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, and there's so many to go to. Kash Patel should have just waved Judge Jeanine over the slap Schiff across the room. Yeah, the Democrats are, absolutely embarrassing to America. They're embarrassing to this country. They're embarrassing to everything. Kelly Song, President Trump is a blessing. He's so intelligent, wise, and has great intuition. He absolutely is. Jill over on Facebook, Robinson is a patsy. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. He's far worse than that. Pencil neck, Adam Schiff. Yeah, I think that one speaks for itself for who he is. Director Patel was amazing. He stands up to those evil leftists that he did and that he does, and we'll see what happens with his job. As they say, it's hanging in the balance. I guess we'll have to find out what's happening. Dan Bongino didn't show up to work for that day because he couldn't stop laughing after seeing Steve Bannon in just a Speedo in a foot race with Stacey Abrams and just our thong. That's a scary sight to see. Absolutely terrifying sight to see. Folks, we appreciate each and every single one of you guys tuning in tonight. D over on Facebook, Oklahoma, bless you. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We had somebody from Albany, New York. Appreciate you tuning in as well. As always, folks, it's a delight to have you guys with us on any show, live shows, whatever it may be. We always appreciate you spending part of your night with us, part of your day with us, and hope to see you back here tomorrow for the Great America Show, where our quest for truth, justice, and the American way continues, folks. Same time, same place tomorrow. We'll probably have some more news for you, as it seems that's the way things go these days. God bless you all, folks. May God bless America, and may God bless the great Lou Dobbs. We'll see you tomorrow, folks.